So, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel on this mild, slightly warm, overcast Saturday afternoon. And we are going to be talking about the news on Mason Mount and potentially the Rabiot deal that apparently was in the pipe works. Is that deal now dead with the contract renewal progress that Juventus are starting to make? Thank you very much, helicopter. Um, I don't know why there's so many helicopters that keep flying over this place. Not really a flight path, so not really too sure why that's the case. But yes, Mason Mount. What's going on with the Mace? What's going on with Chelsea's star boy? Wow, basically, in the previous video, I stated with the Mason Mount bid, the third bid that was going in, about 55 million package thereabouts, and I thought, I mean, it should be a reasonable bid. It should be a reasonable bid. I think it's about right. I think slightly overvalued for what uh, how good Mason Mount actually is. Um, so I thought, yeah, overpaying on the Mason Mount deal initially with that, and basically it seemed like it was a bit of a no-brainer with the third bid and the value of that third bid. I mean, I've seen quite a few other, well, pretty much everyone mutually agreed across the board that 55 million pounds as a package bid for Mason Mount should be enough to get the deal across the line. It should be enough. It should be valued about enough. But according to Chelsea, no, it wasn't. They still want more. Apparently, there's a counter. They've countered it. They've said, "Well, come with what was it, 58 million plus 7 as a package, and they will consider it further. If not, they've offered to meet in person." Which, I mean, I just don't even know what the thinking is behind this. Now, there is a proclamation from the United board that they are not going to give up on the Mason Mount deal, that they're not going to walk away, they're going to negotiate, they're going to go ahead with taking these talks further, and that we should perhaps expect a fourth bid to be lodged at some point soon. Now, we're already in the regions of overpaying. So this, to me, is just nothing but bad news. Nothing but bad news. And it's not even for a player in a priority position. So being rinsed, if we're being rinsed by a club who are going to be competing for, they're going to try and compete for top honours next season in Chelsea, and where our budgets are not, we're not strong on the budget side of things, and we are threatening to spend a massive, massive amount. See what I did there? Amount on Mason Mount, but he's not a priority position. I know that he is a player that Erik ten Hag likes and a player that Erik ten Hag perhaps wants, but it's not a priority position considering that there are other issues in the squad that should be addressed beforehand. And considering how I rate Mason Mount and the sort how I perceive this deal, if it was down to me, I'd say, look, it's not worth it. It really isn't worth it because you've got so many other positions that you need to tend to first. If you're so desperate for a midfielder, there's another midfielder currently available that is younger. I think he's younger. It is much more suited for what this team needs to actually progress and go up another level, and he's still available. Of course, he's going to be really expensive, but it's Brighton midfielder Caicedo. Caicedo's still available. I know there's Declan Rice, and some people will say, well, you might as well focus on Declan Rice. Well, me and Caicedo, apparently, it seems as though Chelsea are waiting to get players off the books to then go get Caicedo. It seems like. it seems like that's the plotted course of action. That's what they want to do. Personally, I think we should be like, well, okay, then we'll just walk away because we don't value him that much. And this is the thing: they've already reported, they've already said that that they're against going above, 55 million thereabouts. They're against doing that. So it's either the board upkeeps its or John Murto, I think is probably the name most associated to this, can keep up his reputation for not taking any BS anymore from any other clubs and walk away from this deal, or he can just prove to everyone that he is as spineless as I think most people make him out to be, and stick in this deal and try and get it done, despite there being public communication that they're not going to be pushing to go above a certain value. So, make of that what you will. Personally, if it's down to me, I'm walking away from this Mason Mount deal because it's not worth having to go through overspending on a player that you don't necessarily need to get. You don't need to get Mason Mount. You don't have to get Mason Mount. But a player like Caicedo, in the role that he has in the Brighton team, we need a player in our team like Caicedo. We need a player like Caicedo to progress this team, to take this team to another level, to improve this midfield, to not see us get beat for 5, 6, 7s, and 8s away from home or at home next season, wherever it may be. Caicedo's definitely, I mean, you can imagine it with midfields such as Casemiro, Mason Mount, and Bruno Fernandes. If we had those three, that seemed to be mentioned. That combination seems to get mentioned a lot. I mean, to me, that's just a recipe for disaster because Mason Mount's not the sort of player that you see, defensively grafting and doing the hard yards. It's not the sort of player you see doing that. He can track back from time to time, but I mean, we've seen it with Eriksen this season. Even with him in the midfield, we look exposed. Fred in the midfield, we may look exposed. McTominay in midfield, we look exposed. But Caicedo is very good cover for Casemiro or to play alongside Casemiro. It just improves the strength of the spine of this team. And when you do that, you stop getting your midfield bypassed so easily, and you stop seeing the scorelines like Manchester City away, like Liverpool away, like Brentford away. You don't see results, occur like that, or if they do occur, it's really, 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 really rare. It's extremely rare. But that's just how I feel. I don't know. Perhaps you guys would feel as though Mason Mount's a player that we should just stick in, stay in the bidding process with anyways, because always it's an Eric Ten Hag target. You might feel that way. Personally, I think scrap Mason Mount. Just go get someone like Caicedo. Caicedo is still available. Go do that deal. Just go do that deal. I'm pretty sure if Caicedo knows he's getting linked to Man United and this interest is serious, he will manufacture a move to this club as well. He'll probably want to push for it. I can imagine it. If the interest is concrete and serious and it's being reported, widespread reporting, and people actually having discussions on the phone, meetings in person, whatever it is, Caicedo will make his intentions clear. Yes, I want to go Man United. I believe that's literally it. Just be serious with it. Be serious with it, and watch the dominoes fall into place. But I can't trust this club to take this matter seriously enough to warrant us having all of these Caicedo discussions. Because it's not a target for Manchester United, despite him probably being the best option for what this midfield needs. So you know, what whatever happens happens. Though, I'm afraid with the Mason Mount signing, or with what midfields that we're going to sign this summer. Um, but so yeah, speaking of midfields and deals that seem to be, you know, getting ever closer to their demise is the Rabiot deal. And Rabiot from Juventus. Now, I've not rated Rabiot. I just don't see him as, a very special player. I think he's very mid card. I think he's very mid card in the discussions for elite level midfielders. Very, very, very mid card. And by elite level, I don't mean like all the legends you see throughout the annals of history. I don't mean that at all. I mean at the top level in top division football. He's very mid card. He's the sort of midfielder that you can see going into like your mid table teams and just being another cog in the machine. But the fact of the matter is, we could have signed him on a free because his contract expires in like the next week or so. That he becomes a free agent, and if it's a free agent and you can add to the depth in midfield, why not? It's a why not signing. It even if it's not the target that we so want and desire and crave, even if it's not that, the fact is that it's a free midfielder, and you can sign just to add extra depth, and that to me is a bit of a no-brainer sort of transfer move to make. But that deal or that idea might be dead in the water if the contract renewals, as reported by Fabrizio Romano, if the contract renewals go according to plan, because apparently things are getting close for Juventus. Things are getting the situation is improving. So Rabiot might be signing a contract extension, meaning that if we want Rabiot, we would have to pay a fee. But we can't be affording to do that sort of deal. If Rabiot comes, he's coming on a free. That that's not disputable. If he comes, he's coming on a free. But if there's a fee we have to pay for him, he can stay well away from Manchester. He can stay in Turin. I do not want him anywhere near this club. If we have to pay a fee, I do not want to see him anywhere near this club. But if we can get him on a free, then it, again, as I've said, it's a why not signing. It's a bit like Ericsson. I mean, quite a few people perhaps would have said when we were signing Ericsson, well, he's not, he's probably past it. He's not at his usual best and all this and that. But with the state of the midfield that we had at the time, because it would have been free, it was a why not signing. And that's the thing about free signings is if it's if it offers any form of value that you have this player or you add this player to your squad, you view it almost as though it's, well, why not? Why not do this? We're not taking more out of our transfer budget. We're just adding another player onto the wage bill. But a free signing, why not? Honestly, why not? So for me, if for anyone that's hoping that we can add two midfielders, I think this option with Rabiot joining us on a free is uh, probably the only outcome that we would see this summer where we get two midfielders. I don't see any other option because otherwise, if Rabiot we can't get Rabiot in on a free, the most midfielders we're getting this summer is one. We're only getting one midfielder, and based off of what this squad needs, fingers crossed, it's not actually Mason Mount, but it is someone more like a Declan Rice or a Moises Caicedo. One of those two, because we just don't need Mason Mount compared to the other problems that we've seen last season. the problems we've seen last season, we know, like the fan base knows, a player like a Caicedo, a player like a Declan Rice, would solve a lot of the problems we've had last season. Solve a lot, not everything. Jesus Christ, not everything. There's still massive issues that have got to be addressed, such as the striker, such as the now shorthand notice goalkeeping problems, where we just don't know who the first choice goalkeeper is going to be going into next season. I'm seeing people having second thoughts about the Andre Onana deal, with some of people digging up where Andre Onana's been caught, outside of his box or making bad decisions, and it's just like, well, beggars can't be choosers at this point. Beggars cannot be choosers, and if De Gea is leaving, just have someone who can be a first team goalkeeper and not be sitting here going through another season with a key position occupied by an underwhelming level of player, an underwhelming quality of player. So we bared last season with our striker position. Very underwhelming. I mean, some of the wingers were quite underwhelming as well. But basically, to me, Andre Onana he's just, you have to do that deal, because De Gea is supposed to get, the move to Saudi Arabia is heating up now. It's heating up. It's getting traction. So for me, Andre Onana, heard that he's also recently switched his agents. I'm not really too sure why he's done that. Considering I'm pretty sure, unless it's this new agent that's come in to start negotiations with the club, I don't really know too much why Andre Onana's decided to switch his agents, especially on the eve of potentially getting a transfer move to Manchester United. I don't really understand the logic behind that, but it is what it is. I don't know the insides and outsides of that. Of that sort of discussion. Probably just a mutual agreement with all the parties involved there, but that's neither here nor there. It's only speculative at this point. But let me know what you guys think with the Mason Mount. Whether you think it's high tide we walk away, or whether you believe we just got to stick, ride out the storm, ride the Murta machine, and stick in there and see this deal over the line, and what you think about the Rabiot deal. If you think that was a realistic acquisition, if you think it is realistic that we could get Rabiot in on a free this summer, or whether you think he's going to sign a new contract, and whether you believe it's worth us chasing another deal that's probably not worth doing. But yeah, let me know what you guys think with the comments down below. If you do leave your comments there, be sure to hit a like and subscribe. And if you'd like to see more content like this, or like to know when I next upload or go live, do be sure to turn the notification bell on. And that's it for me for now. We'll be seeing y'all again real soon. And ciao.